Welcome to day 2. Today we're talking about font energy. This is your brand's personality and overall brand essence in text form. Most entrepreneurs think that it's okay to just pick fonts based on how cute it looks. No, fonts communicate, fonts are identity, and fonts send subconscious messages to your audience. And if your fonts are wrong for your brand, your content will have a harder time converting buyers, no matter how good your words are. So what are fonts exactly? Fonts are stylized numbers, letters, and even symbols with a very distinctive look. They shape how your brand sounds, how your brand feels, and how your message lands before you've even said anything. So let's forget all the technical design stuff and let's just focus on the 4 categories that will matter most to you as an entrepreneur based on the type of business that you have. Number 1, we have serif fonts. Serif fonts have little hands and feet at the bottom and tops of all the letters and numbers. They can be very high-end, premium, luxe. The way I like to remember serif fonts is that they look very elegant, expensive, and editorial. Let's look at some font examples. Playfair Display, Dido, Times New Roman. There's so many others I could share, but I would just, for example purposes, just show you these ones. So use serif fonts if your brand is high-end, luxury, the best of the best, world-class quality to attract premium buyers. So think luxury brands like Vogue, high-end brands like Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, Gucci, Dior, Hermes, Prada, Volvo, Honda, Forbes, Sony, Burberry, and Harper's Bazaar. Now let's move on to sans serif font. These letters and numbers and symbols do not have the hands and feet at the tops and the ends. Sans serif fonts are very easy to read, they're clean, fresh, and professional. Let's look at some font examples for sans serif fonts. Some popular examples are Montserrat, Helvetica, Arial, Poppins, and again, there's so many more I could show you, but these are very popular fonts that give you a good understanding that when you use sans serif fonts, you will create a very clean, clear, professional, no fluff brand. So think TV shows like Selling Sunset or Love is Blind, or brands like Airbnb, Uber, eBay, Calvin Klein, L'Oreal, Balmain, Chanel, Apple, and Netflix. So this is a great example that when used right, these could also be very luxurious. Next, we have script fonts. These are very traditional handwriting styles, as well as more of the modern day style that literally looks like someone's signature or handwriting. Now, script fonts are very feminine, soft, and adds a personal touch. Script fonts are to be used very sparingly because of its legibility. Let's look at some famous brands that use script fonts. Barbie, Hallmark, Coca-Cola, Disney, Virgin, Johnson & Johnson, Cadillac, Cartier, and Cadbury. Also, do you remember early Taylor Swift logos and her Speak Now album cover? They also use script fonts. Now, script fonts are very whimsical, romantic, and can also be very classy. So you'll also see it used very often for weddings or formal events. Here are some font examples in Canva. Got Ballet, Signature, and Lux Script. All great examples of how diverse these script fonts can look. It's a very great font to use to communicate femininity, if you're an emotional brand, or if you want to add a personal touch. But I just want to say, use this like perfume, okay? So it's one spray, because too many sprays is going to kill the vibe, because script fonts aren't always legible or easy to read. Lastly, I want to talk about display fonts. The name says it all. It's to be used for bold headlines, decorative purposes, to add a dramatic effect, and for just high impact statement text. Display fonts are designed for large scale text like headlines, logos, posters, etc. It's never for long form body text because they're very distinct, attention grabbing, less readable in the smaller size. Again, display fonts are for headlines only, never for body text. Let's have a look at some examples.
There's Anton, Bebas New, and Prisma. Now think movie posters like Tron, film intros, billboards, t-shirts, restaurants. So basically, your display fonts are for headlines, big statements, real covers, but never, ever, ever for body text. Okay, ever.
If you're wondering, why do fonts even matter? It's because fonts create perception. Fonts give us an instant vibe. For example, serif equals luxury, sans serif equals modern, script can create a romantic vibe, and display fonts can create quite a bold mood. Your job is to pick one personality and stick to it, because strategic brand design is about communicating this personality, energy, brand voice, as well as your overall essence. It's also important to note that your fonts guide the eye. Look at it like the hierarchy of text. Headlines must stand out, while your body text must be readable. Lastly, your fonts adds to your brand identity. So using the same fonts over and over again makes your brand consistent. And when your brand is consistent and cohesive, it starts to be recognizable. And that's what we want. And instantly, this feels premium, polished, and professional. And this is the big secret: to stop looking DIY-ish, even if you are doing it all yourself, and start looking like a top-notch official brand. Now, I get asked this a lot. How many fonts do I need, JD? The answer is 2. You need one for your headlines and you need another one for your body text, which is your long form text. That's it. If you really want to, you can add a third for accents. But again, if you are going to use an accent font, use this sparingly for when it really serves a purpose, like adding a subtitle or emphasizing something. Now, most people mess up their brand because they mix too many fonts. Please do not make the same mistake as all the other entrepreneurs now that you know all of this. Because here's the truth, all you need is 2 fonts. Everything else is just a distraction from your core message, and it's just adding to all the other noise online. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to choose your fonts. Step 1 is to choose your brand personality based on these categories. So if your personality falls under luxury, go with that. If it falls under modern, go with that. And if it falls under bold and edgy, go with that. Your job is to pick one and then stick to it. Step 2 is to choose your headline font. If you're going with luxury, use a serif font. If you want modern, go with sans serif. If you want bold, use a display headline. Think of your headline font as the one that introduces your brand at a major event. Step 3 is choose your body text font. There's only one rule when it comes to your body text. Your body text font must be easy to read always. Over the years, I found that sans serif fonts are best for this because sans serif is the easiest to read on screens, on paper, everywhere. It's clean, it's simple, and it's clear. I want to add that even luxury brands pair serif headlines with sans serif body text. Even bold brands pair display headlines with sans serif body text. And you'll often see modern brands use sans serif also for their body text. And that's because sans serif is the hero of readability. Lastly, we have step 4, and that is pairing your fonts together and making sure that they work beautifully together. If you're going for luxury, then you may have a serif for your headline and you may have a sans serif for your body text. This is elevated but still modern. It's balanced, it's premium, it's editorial, it's timeless, and it has that Vogue energy. If you're going with a modern brand, you'll most likely use a sans serif font for your headline as well as a sans serif font for your body text. This is like wearing a matching tracksuit. Everything goes together really well. It's easy, it's safe, and it's real clean. If your brand is bold, then most likely you'll go with the display headline with sans serif body text. This is for the brands that just want to communicate that edge, that boldness, that want to make strong statements with punchy covers and high impact visuals. But remember, your body text font must be really simple to read, no matter how bold the brand is. We wrap it all up. I want to help you avoid these mistakes. Number 1 is use a script font as a headline. Don't ever use a script font for body text and things like that. It's too hard to read. The next thing is avoid using serif font as body text because it can look very old school and a little messy on mobile. Now, don't ever use 2 script fonts together or 2 display fonts together because it just looks too messy and very amateur. And the last thing I would say is don't use more than 2 fonts unless you want to have a 3rd accent font that you will use sparingly. Now that you understand the personality, the energy, the essence behind fonts, here's the truth. You don't need to go through Canva's 5,000 fonts. You don't need to guess what pairs well together. And you don't need to design anything from scratch because inside of Brand to the Bank bundle, I've done all the hard work for you. I've pre-selected premium font pairings. I've got matching templates. I've got scroll stopping layouts, brand kits built around each visual personality, and so much more. Just to give you an idea, this includes Design to Dollars, the entire course. It also gives you the Authority Accelerator, which is a pack of 333 Canva templates, all pre-made and ready to be edited by you and customized by you. That means you can change your colors, your fonts, your photos, elements, all those kind of things. And then I also include the money-making mock-ups. This is 50 mock-ups already pre-made for you, including the entire Style Your Scene studio. I mean, this saves you endless hours of trying to create things yourself. And then on top of that, I'm also going to throw in the Audit to Authority, which is my expert eyes on your brand. So I tell you what's working, what's not. I give you a full plan of what to do to make your brand profitable. As you can see, this is valued over $2,603 if I was to sell every little bit of everything included individually. And even if I was to package this all up, it would still be over $400. But when you invest in your brand today, it is $77. Everything you've learned today plugs into this bundle. If you want to instantly upgrade your visual brand identity without designing a thing yourself, this bundle is your next step. The link is below if you want to learn more. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow where we're going to talk all things semiotic branding, which is a fancy way of saying symbolism. This is a training that I'll eventually package into a course or some type of coaching program. So get it while I'm gifting it to you, because there's nothing out there that teaches semiotics the way I teach it. I'll see you tomorrow.